It's hard to really know what's what and what's real about the Phoenix Suns. And while new head coach Frank Vogel has already cycled through 8 different starting lineups, this team has gotten off to a 4-6 rocky start that none of us expected, not even the stars on this team. This 4-6 start included some disturbing developments, including Bradley Beal and what is wrong with his back, what's going on right now. And while recently Phoenix has won 7 in a row, this comes to no coincidence with Devin Booker's return to the lineup and playing with the team again. After Book missed 8 of the previous 9 Suns games, the 8-time All-Star has been shredding defenses, averaging a career high 29.4 points per game with the 62.8 true shooting percentage. And if you don't know what true shooting percentage is, essentially your regular field goal percentage with your free throw percentage, and that's pretty much averaged out. It gives you a better look at how you're scoring the ball in its totality, because the normal field goal percentage, it leaves out free throw, it separates them. Essentially, this combines them. Now, what's far more important in the short and long term for an organization that's all in to win this year's title, though? Even though Devin Booker's elite shot making is on display once again, something that we're already accustomed to and we're not surprised by any stretch of the imagination, the part that has been most important for this Phoenix team, both short and long term, is the fact that Devin Booker has filled the role of Chris Paul as a facilitator, and not just a facilitator, the point guard for this team, and has done it at an exceptional level. Elite, I might add. We're starting to see Devin Booker evolve in front of our very eyes and really turn into one of the best players in the NBA. Obviously, the year is short. We haven't seen a very sustained and long track record of this. We did see some glimpses of his playmaking and facilitating growing last season in the absence of Chris Paul, but we haven't seen it quite like this. And this year, we're seeing it at an all-time level for Devin Booker, the Suns, and it's going to help them to continue winning games on this 7-game win streak that they're already on. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate having you guys here. Let me know what you guys think about Devin Booker and his playmaking prowess and how it's grown to this point in the season, and let's hop into the video. When the Phoenix Suns shipped off Chris Paul and acquired Bradley Beal this summer, the initial plan was to put the ball in Devin Booker's hand. It made enough sense at the time. Despite having the accurate reputation of a prodigious scorer, someone who dropped 70 in a game before his 21st birthday, Booker's assist rate has been way above average at his position for most of his career. He consistently dimed up fellow Suns on some forgettable teams that were sorry enough to make people wonder if his statistical rise was empty or meaningful. But on this scale, with a fundamentally new set of responsibilities on his plate and actual championship aspirations that elevate stakes and urgency, his recent numbers are kind of shocking. 9 assists per game, tied with Nikola Jokic for 4th highest and 2 more than his previous career high. An assist rate of 42.8, second highest behind only Tyrese Halliburton. And for context, over the past 3 seasons, Devin Booker averaged 4.8 assists per game with a 23.2 assist rate. He's been insane this year. He's almost doubled that output over the course of a season. Now stick with me, because this video is gonna have a lot of numbers, and I know I'm not the biggest on advanced stats and statistical presence, but I am big on having stats prove what the eye test is showing us. And me personally, watching the Suns as of recently, the eye test told me that his playmaking and him being a PG is absolutely elite. And when I look into these numbers, it is just that, and it supports that. Look at this. The Suns are generating 126.7 points per 100 possessions when Book is on the court. They're also averaging an absurd 137 points per 100 possessions when he brings the ball up the floor. Now, Booker is dribbling the ball up the court 33.5 times per game, which is 4.6 more than his previous career high and 13 above last season's average. On a per 100 basis, nobody is creating more points from the three-point line at all than Devin Booker. If this is sustained or even improved on once everyone is healthy, which is a very real possibility, this evolution is a 5-alarm fire for opponents who entered this season hoping Phoenix's 3 starters would need a more traditional facilitator to really go. For them, sadly, and shit, for me too as a Lakers fan, this hasn't been the case to this point. Instead of treating his new circumstances as a burden, Book has used them as an opportunity to showcase how great his all-around game can really be. I'm gonna show you guys some examples in this video, so definitely hold tight. I'm not just gonna give you all lip service in this one. We're gonna look at a couple clips, but just hold tight. If you made it to this point in the video, keep rocking with me. drop a like if you haven't already. And if you're not subbed, make sure you drop that sub right now for more content like this. And let's keep it going. Let's keep talking about Book, because I haven't had Book propaganda since the beginning of last year when I called him an MVP. And it did fall off a little bit, but he was playing like an MVP. So let's not make that mistake. Now, running a pick and roll, Book honestly looks like a larger version of Trae Young and a quicker Luka. Book already had every pass in his bag, jump skips to the corner, one-handed lasers across his body with either hand, spoon feeds at the rim, kickouts from the paint, crispy pocket pass. He had it all. His 50.2 ball screens per 100 possessions rank him 8th out of 104 players who've initiated at least 100 pick and rolls this season, and it's the highest mark of his career. And some of his reads are a work of art. Let's take this skip pass to Chimezie Metu against the Knicks. The play unfolds like a typical high pick and roll with Suns backup center Drew Eubanks setting a screen and then diving toward the rim. Now, what makes this beautiful is the way Booker never even looks left at Metu to indicate that he's passing it there. His eyes are locked on Eubanks, and even after he passes the ball, his eyes stay locked on Eubanks, and I might add his arm does flare up like he's throwing a lob, and it's a beautiful pass to the corner for an easy 3. Now, we also know Book is willing to take what the defense gives more than most players who can score 35 points in their sleep. He posted a career high 15 assists in 32 minutes against the Jazz on November 17th while only taking 15 shots. And I think I can say he believes those around him can make the right play when he puts them on the spot to do so. Let's look at this play here. Instead of jacking this pull-up 2 over the defense the way we know Booker could do in his sleep, after he split the screen, he kicks it to Yusuf Nurkic in the corner, who then shovels it to Nasir Little for the open 3. Now, what makes this kind of play outstanding to me, especially from a passer point guard perspective, you have to know sometimes when you can get the ball directly to the scorer or how to get the ball in an easier spot so that there can be an extra pass made so that the score can happen. And in this case, he does that with Yusuf Nurkic. He doesn't settle for the pull-up 2 like he could do, gives it to Yusuf Nurkic, who then gives it to open Nasir Little for the 3. He trusts his teammates, and it shows even when this team has almost flipped a complete 180. We all know Devin Booker attracts as much defense as anyone in the league, maybe even more, be it off the help side or 2 defenders who are desperately chasing him, trying to double him to get the ball out his hands, which is something that happens frequently at both the beginning and end of ball games where he gets blitzed a lot. Now, to better highlight how much this has changed for Book this season, he's making 53.2 passes per game. That's a personal high, miles above last year's 37.3, and even when he wasn't on the court with Paul for the first few years, his volume was always way lower than it is right now. Booker's shots per touch are at a career low mark, and he's averaging a career high 394 dribbles per game, which is significantly up from last season's 266 and the 200 he logged during his first year with Chris Paul back in 2021. All this shouldn't be a complete surprise, but the poise and general awareness he's exuded without any noticeable growing pains, it's been absolutely incredible and something to marvel at. For me, watching him now, it makes you wonder just what his passing numbers could have looked like had the Suns never traded for Chris Paul and got another scorer. Supplement Booker with a roll man and some knockdown 3-point shooters, and the offense probably was unstoppable. Now, there's pockets of heliocentric brilliance here, and this is why I really wanted to make this video above all else. Backed by Phoenix roster, if we could call it that, maybe the greatest pure scorer who's ever lived also on the team in Kevin Durant, his effective field goal percentage when Book is on the court is 70.4. Without him, it's 55.4. And when you have KD on the court, the best defense against that is a prayer. Now, you can take what I'm saying, count it as law, count it as truth, say Devin Booker's not a point. You can say it all you want to, but hey, when he came back, I'm gonna put it like this. Kevin Durant said it himself. Our point guard is back. It's good to have our point guard back. Book has said it. I'm the point guard, he's the scorer, and it's shown since their 7-game win streak how well Devin Booker has played, how well he's facilitator, he's toting the rock for this team. And like I said earlier in this video, it almost makes me wonder sometimes, what if they hadn't got Chris Paul? What if they got a valuable role man as opposed to Ayton? What if they got some shooters around him and build this team slightly differently, expecting Book to be a more all-around type of player? He might have had more success earlier in his career. At this point, he's either withstood or completely demolished every defensive coverage that he's seen this year, be it a boxing one like against the Golden State Warriors where they had a barrage of blitzes guarding him 30 feet from the basket, didn't affect him. And now here's the question I have, because I remember them talking about Beal being the kind of point guard for this team, but when he comes back, can he be a knockdown scorer? Can he be another shooter slash scorer for Book to facilitate to and eventually thrust this team into being an unstoppable team on the offensive end of the ball? And you know, they could play pretty good defense too. We're not even gonna ignore that. This team could potentially be a real threat in the Western Conference, and it all starts with Devin Booker and him graduating into what seems to be a more heliocentric player. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. If you guys rocked with me this long into the video, about 15 minutes in, I appreciate having you here. If you're still not subscribed by this point, go ahead and do that. I don't know what you're doing, you tripping, you missing out. Keep up with all this good content. Make sure you hit that sub notification bell below. And it's your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories in the base on the tube. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.